So, namaste everyone. We are back with another episode, and today again we have Abhijit with us. And today we'll be discussing about Malefic and Benefic planets. So, hello Abhijit. Abhijit, are you there?
Hi, Aksh, and hello everyone. Welcome to the podcast.
So,
Hello, am I audible?
yeah, you are very audible. So, let's begin. What are the Malefic and Benefic planets, and how do they affect us?
Okay, so today we are going to discuss about malefic and benefic planets. So before coming to the main topic, that is what are malefic and benefic planets, let us understand what do we mean by these terms, right?
Right.
Like what is exactly a malefic planet and what is exactly a benefic planet? So, in order to understand this topic, we first have to understand the tattva, that elements which we have in our body, and how is the proportion divided. Okay, so in modern research, it has been confirmed that the 70% of our body is made up of water, and rest 30% is made up of other components or other things. Now, in Jyotish, what we have been taught through rishis is that 70% of the living beings who can move is water, like animals and human beings. They have 70% of water. Because there is more water, they have the mobility. But if we consider other living beings like trees, herbs, or some other life forms which cannot move, which are fixed at their places, those living forms have more of earth element rather than water element. Okay. Now we have talked about earth element and water element. What about other elements? There are five elements which are air, fire, earth, water, and ether. That is Akash Tattva. So Akash Tattva is basically like a blank canvas. It is present everywhere, whether it is a living being, it is a non-living being, it is nothingness or whatever, it's vacuum. Everywhere Akash Tattva is present. So it is the origin, but we cannot directly use the Akash Tattva. The four other elements, they are performing the other tasks. So fire element. Fire element is also present in our body, but fire element is present in a very less amount, because if fire increases, it destroys the organs and it destroys the other elements of the body, because fire has that stage, that energy. If we put a finger in front of a candle and we bring the candle closer to our finger, it will burn the finger because it has that energy which burns the things. So now, if our body have 70% of water, it means that it needs water to maintain itself, right? If there will be no water, the body won't be able to survive for long. So for that reason, the planets which are the source and the distributor of water, they are benefic. That is Moon and Venus. Moon is the source of water and Venus is the distributor of water. Because our body needs water in maximum amount, in the 70% of the proportion, that's why these two planets are considered to be benefic planets. Now again, there is one more point that I just remembered, so I just want to add it in this. Moon is the sea water, the raw form of water. Okay, it has no filters. It's just raw, having a lot of salts in it, minerals in it, which may be digested by us, and there are many which cannot be digested by us. So Venus becomes the distributor. What Venus does is Venus works as a purifier. It will remove all the unnecessary minerals and it just takes out the necessary minerals and it provides it to us in the form of groundwater. So that's why Venus is considered to be the natural benefic. And you have heard about moon that if it is in Shukla Paksh Tithi, then moon will act as a benefic planet. If it's uh, your dark phase, that is the Krishna Paksha Tithi, then moon will behave like malefic. So basically, moon is the vastness of the sea, and in sea you have minerals as well, and you have poison as well. So you have to decide what you want to take. But moon is required. If you have no water source, you won't get any water anyway, and your body won't survive. So moon is very important. So moon and other water element planet, that is Venus, they are the benefits. Now, other than this 70%, we have the remaining 30%, out of which around 25% is again Prithvi Tattva. So now, when we talk about Prithvi Tattva, so the originator or the source of Prithvi Tattva is Ketu. But Ketu is very peculiar planet. It is a fire element planet, but it creates Earth. So it provides support to our body as well, but it doesn't like our body because I will come to that point why fire element planets doesn't like our this physical body. But let us keep in mind that the source of earth element is Ketu. Now, who is the distributor of this earth element? Mercury is the distributor of earth element, and 25% of our body is, that earth element that we just said. Now, now this earth element is more in the plants and trees. That's why they cannot move. And if we go into biology a little bit, the cell structure of plants and animals, you must have also studied about it that the plant-based cells have a thick cell membrane. It's very thick and very hard. It has a cell wall along with it, which provides it safety and guards it. Now, this strong cell wall is not present in the animal cell. Why? Because the earth element is less in the animal cell, whereas the earth element is more in the plant cell. That's why it provides it a basic structure, fixed structure, which is fixed by nature, which cannot change. So this earth element is present in our body, which provides it the hard structure, the external structure we have. Like the muscle can change, but the skeletal system that our body have, it won't change much after the development is done, right? So that is the earth element that provides it the structure. Now, I told you earlier that fire element is not very supportive for our physical body. Why I said that? Because our body is primarily made up of two elements, that is earth and water. Now, earth element is responsible for this physical appearance that we have. And who is the source of fire, if I say? So it is the sun. And sun is known as the source of light as well. Now, if I bring something solid in front of light, what happens? It casts a shadow, right? And what is shadow? Shadow is Shani, basically. And Sun is not very happy with Saturn, and vice versa. So our body restricts the path of the light that Sun wants to give. That's why Sun is not very supportive to this physical body. In fact, if Sun is important because we our body needs vitamins, but if you keep on under the sun for the whole day, your body becomes like a baked potato. Your skin will turn dark. Secondly, you will have many skin issues as well. And in modern times, in this phase, we have also heard that there are some ultraviolet rays from sun, which can even hurt your skin and your tissues. So, in moderation, we need to take the sunlight. It has been prescribed. So this is because sun doesn't like that earth element in us. It has no problem with water because water allows light to flow. Water is not creating problems to the sunlight or the light in general. But this earth element creates shadow, and that is the problem for fire element. Similarly, Mars is the distributor. So Mars also doesn't like the earth element. It feels restricted in it. So that's why Sun, Mars, they do not like our physical body. Yeah, if you want to talk about like spirits, then they are okay with it. Yeah, yes, you have this soul, you have this karma, that's fine. But I don't want you to be bound by this physical body. That's why Mars also rules the natural eighth house. That is the decay of the body, the transformation of the body, the changes that happen over the time, like oxidation takes place and the body decays over the period of time. So that house is also ruled by natural eighth house is what? Natural eighth house is Scorpio. And it is ruled by Mars and Ketu, interestingly, which are fiery planets. So that is the reason why fire elements do not like the body because our body creates that restriction, that obstacle to the source of light. So they don't like our physical body. So the planets which are representing fire elements, they are malefic naturally, which is Sun, Mars, and Ketu. If you see the natural benefic and natural malefic chart, you will find out interestingly that the fire element planets are the malefic planets, the water element planets are benefic. Similarly, earth element is important for this body. Because of earth element, we have this physical body. So earth element also comes under benefic. So Mercury is also considered as a benefic planet. Now remains the wind element, that is the air element, which are Saturn and Rahu. Now, the major part that here we have to understand, Saturn and Rahu, they represent the air element, but there is a difference. Saturn is solid. Saturn is not like it it is having no base. No. Saturn has a strong foundation and it works on that strong foundation. And it works over a period of long time. Okay. But Rahu, what is Rahu? Rahu is basically an illusion, or it gives you that tendency that, okay, today I want to do this, but tomorrow I may differ. I might want to do something else. So that thing is given by your Rahu. Okay. Rahu also represents the number of breaths that we have to live on this earth. Okay. And generally, what Rahu does is it cuts out everything that it has. Generally, we have heard that Rahu expands the things. True, it will expand your desires, it will expand your fantasy, but it is also karaka for disappointments. So why a person gets disappointed? Because he has thought a lot of things, but in reality, what happened was very less in compared to that which was imagined or which was thought. So Rahu will give you a lot of thoughts and lot of things that this can happen, but it provides you with limited resources. So our body needs breathe. We need breathing. If the number of breaths we have is very less, then we won't survive for a longer time. So that's why, because, and if you see Rahu and your Saturn, these both are restrictive in nature. They bind you. Saturn is known for its boundaries. It will form a boundary towards your mental thought process. Similarly, it provides you with a limited number of breaths, that you have this much of breath and you can live up to this time. Because wind element's source is Saturn. So it decides how much breaths you will have. And the distributor is Rahu. Again, Rahu is the distributor of air, but Rahu is also the pollution part. The artificial medicines that people take for making body or something like that, like steroids or some other chemicals which have adverse reaction, they are also ruled by Rahu. So Rahu sometimes pollutes the air as well. And secondly, it has already restricted the number of breaths that we have. That we can live up to 80 years only or 120 years only, not more than that. So due to this restrictiveness, the air elements are also considered to be malefics because it is not giving you the freedom. But water elements are benefic. Why? Because as long as you have water element, your body won't get affected by anything. But as soon as the shortage of water element happens in your body, you will start getting different kind of diseases and different kind of problems. So that's why water element planets are known as benefics, air element planets are known as malefic. Similarly, the Prithvi Tattva, that is the earth element planets, are known as benefic, whereas the fire element planet is known as malefic. Now next comes is the ether element. What about ether element? So only one planet is the governing body of the ether element, that is Jupiter. Now Jupiter is good for everyone, because all the elements came out of ether only. In if we consider the Big Bang theory also, it says that initially there was nothing, and then there was a small element which just broke out and everything came out of it, and it is going on. The expansion is going on. So even if we consider that theory, so everything came out of something. That something is ether. So it treats everyone with equal judgment. Like it is not differentiating between the air element, water element, fire element, earth element. It is good for everyone. So that's why the ether element is also considered to be benefit. It is having no problem with anyone. And it is the supplier, it is the connector. It connects every element to one another. That's why it's benefit. So Jupiter is considered benefic, natural benefit, the most benefic planet of this uh, system that we have. So that this is how benefics and malefics are decided. Now coming to your question that what are benefic planets and what are malefic planets. In short, the planets that supports your existence, physical existence on this planet Earth, are benefics. The planets which won't support your physical existence on this planet are malefics. So Moon, Venus, and Mercury, they are natural benefics. Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, Mars, and Sun, they are malefics. And Jupiter is good to all, that's why Jupiter is benefic.
So, Abhijit, on this point, I've heard that Sun is considered as a mildly malefic planet. What are your thoughts upon
Yeah,
it,
correct.
and can you project some light upon the topic? That why Sun is considered a mildly malefic planet as compared to Saturn, which is considered malefic, strongly malefic planet.
Correct, correct. So if we see Sun is the sole significator and it is the significator of light. Now, as we know that no life form can exist without sunlight because it provides with different nutrients in plants and every other animal or every other living organism they depend on plants basically. They are the primary resources for this ecosystem. But if we go a little bit deeper about the nature of sun, then we will understand why it is considered mildly malefic and not complete malefic. See, the sunlight has a tendency that it increases the quality. Wherever it falls, it increases its quality. An experiment was performed that if we place an apple in ample sunlight, what differences will occur to it? And it was observed interestingly that if it was exposed to sunlight for a longer duration, for enough amount of time, the starch present in that apple increases the starch level. See, the sweetness depends on the starch level. So if the starch level is more, the apple will become sweeter. So it increased the sweetness of apple. The quality of apple was modified. It was amplified. Similarly, if it falls on a neem tree, let's say, the quality of the leaves, the neem leaves, is pungent taste or it's not very pleasant taste. So that pungentness or that harsh flavor that will increase if it is exposed to sunlight. Similarly, any other life form, like our body is made up of muscles and bones, right? The bone is the main structure. If suppose if a person has no bone and only muscles and system, his body won't exist for long because the internal structures, internal sensitive organs will be hampered very badly. The bones protect us as a shield. Now, if we go in the sunlight, and if someone suggests you to go in the sunlight, you must have heard this that it provides you vitamin D, which is good for your bones and teeth health, and it will keep you fit and fine. So, because sun has this ability to increase the quality, to increase the tendency of a particular organism or plants or tree or anything, that's why it is needed also. It is required as well for our body. That's why it is considered to be mildly malefic and not completely malefic. But yeah, of course, if you keep a tree, let's say if you keep a tree under sunlight and you don't provide it water for a long time, like if you have plantation habit at your home, if you have plants, small plants, just keep it under sunlight in the month of June, May, June, and don't water it for one day. You will see that the plant has become like lifeless. Its leaves are falling apart and it is standing like a lifeless plant having no life. Why? Because the water element was reduced. Because the the strength of that, the intensity of that heat, it soaked up that water element within the leaves and within the structure of that plant body. So it deteriorated itself over long period of time. So we cannot consider it completely benefit, but we need it. That's why it is considered as a mildly malefic planet, not completely malefic.
So interestingly, can I say that we always need to maintain a balance between all these elements? If we ever create an imbalance
Correct.
in our body between these elements, we might encounter some problems, maybe some disease or maybe misfortune or something of that sort into our lives.
True, true. That's absolutely true. Because you see what is disease? Disease is basically, if we break this word, it is made up of dis-ease. So if you do not have ease to do something, then it becomes a disease. Now let's say water element is supportive for us, but if I put someone inside the lake and that person doesn't know how to swim, so he will go inside the water, but inside the into the waters he won't be able to breathe, and breathe is important.
So,
So that person will die, even though the water is supporting the physical body, but he won't exist for long because he cannot take the air inside him. So he will die. Similarly, if we have uh, exposure to more air element, then what will happen? Such a person will suffer from gastric issues, will have problems in the joints of the bones. You have heard about the arthritis and all those things, na? That the joint will have problem in bending. The fluid there gets reduced, so it creates friction. So that happens from air element. If air element is more, so we need that balance, that equilibrium among all the elements. Yes, Divya, you were saying something. Oh,
so yeah, so broadly we have three categories: the malefic planets, the benefic planets, and the mildly malefic planets. The mildly malefic planet
yeah.
consists of Sun, and what are the planets in other two categories?
So for benefic, we have Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, and Moon as well.
Hmm.
Whereas for malefic planets, we have Saturn, which are strongly malefic. Huh? So it is Saturn, Rahu, Ketu,
And Mars.
and Mars.
So,
Yeah.
guys, it is very important to note that we need uh, we need some level of malefic planets in our lives too. The word malefic planets do not stand for that they cause harm to your life. They are equally important into your life to give you some lessons. They are like a harsh teacher in your school that you hated at that point of time, but when you retrospect on your past, maybe you'll love that teacher because he gave you those lessons that were not easy to give, and that came out into your nature. Am I right?
Correct. I
uh,
would add some more 2 points to it. Their point is correct that they are harsh teachers. Secondly, malefic planets and benefic planets, it it decides the nature, how it reacts to you. Like if you have a supportive friend, okay, I'm giving an example of friend because it will help you to understand these planets better. So let's say a person is very supportive towards you. He or she is very much into like guiding you and supporting you and all this thing, but in a pleasant way. He knows your psyche, that how you will react, so he behaves accordingly. He won't say harsh words to you. So that is how benefit planets work. Your body is the instrument through which you are experiencing this world. So they will support this physical body, first of all. So that's how they will behave. Now, malefic planets are those kind of friends who might fight to other people because of you. Like you have some issue with someone, and they will say, "Ki, okay, so this person is creating trouble for you. Let me take the charge and I will teach him a lesson or her a lesson." And that person will go and beat the other person, and then come back and say, "Okay, I have sorted things out." So Malefic is like that. Its way of delivery is very rough and tough. It's not sugar coated. It's not something that you will like necessarily. It will give you results, but it believes in by hook or by crook. Whereas Benefic Planets are more into softer side. Like, okay, I will give you the results, but to this path. And let's try this one, not this one. So they are not harsh friends. They are they are also good friends, but they are polite. Whereas the Malefic Planets are not polite. They can be honest, they can be very honest, but they are not polite. They will say, okay, you want this, let me do it in my own way. And sometimes that way may not be very good to see, to perceive.
So
So that's how Malefic behaves.
So
Yeah,
elaborating more on
yeah,
this
Dipesh.
point, suppose for the viewers, suppose if you have a fight with someone, right? So you cannot expect a Jupiter energy to solve this quarrel, because a Jupiter energy
Correct.
would just beg for forgiveness and would not take a stand. It has a very giving nature. You will need a Mars energy to fight for your rights if you ever have some quarrel
Yeah.
with someone, right? So,
Or
uh,
rather, Rahu.
yeah,
Rahu also. Because Rahu is, all the masterminds of creating some plot against someone else. So Rahu can also help in those conditions. If you want to defeat your enemy through strategies, Rahu will be very good for you.
even
He
for
will provide you with all the crazy ideas.
even for the
That okay,
secret
so let's
agents, if we take into account all the secret agents like ISIS, RAW, or uh, some other secret
yeah.
service agency, all those agents
Yeah,
might need
Rahu. It is
Rahu energy,
completely Rahu.
right?
Correct, correct. It's completely Rahu. It's Rahu energy because it has that hidden element. I will receive information from my enemy, but no one will know me. So that is Rahu. And in today's world, it is very much needed.
Yeah, this is a Rahu world.
So
We need that Rahu energy to
yeah,
survive in this.
like,
Even this
in fact,
medium
we
of
are doing this
podcast.
podcast on Rahu as well. This is also Rahu.
I was going to speak the same. So,
Yeah.
yeah, again, something that we discussed earlier in our conversations of this podcast was something about Kaarak and Maarak. So, I would like you to elaborate more upon what is Kaarak and what is Maarak, and how we can classify the Kaarak and Maarak changes ascendant wise.
Okay. So we have understood the malefic and benefic planets, right? The natural malefic and benefic planets.
Hmm.
Now there is another layer to it, which is known as the Kaarak planets. Okay. So now different people have different ascendant, right? They are born on different time, on different seasons. So accordingly, they have different ascendants. Now, what is ascendant? Ascendant is the physical body that you got in this lifetime. Okay. So there are 12 zodiac signs and there are 12 possible ascendants. For each ascendant, the planets which will support that particular Rashi will change. For example, there is a general principle that the planets which are in 159 from a particular zodiac sign is a supportive. Now, what do I mean by this 159? So, let's take one example. Suppose someone has a Leo. Okay. Now, from Leo, if we count 5 places away, so Leo, Virgo, Libra, then Scorpio, and then uh, Sagittarius. So Sagittarius comes at the fifth place from Leo. Similarly, from Leo, the ninth places away will be Aries, which is ruled by Mars. So Jupiter and Mars will act as benefics, or rather than benefic, I would use the word Kaarak. Kaarak means these planets will support your physical manifestations. The purpose for which you were born, this planet will support it. This planet will support you towards your goals, the five and nine planets. Whereas there are some other planets which are known as Maarak. Maarak means doesn't mean it will kill you. It means that it will create obstruction if you don't follow its path. Now, what are Maarak planets? They are basically the Kam Trikon, that is the third house sign lord, seventh house sign lord, and the 11th house sign lord. I will give you one example. Suppose if a person has a Gemini ascendant, so the seventh house has the Sagittarius zodiac sign, right? Which is ruled by Jupiter.
True.
Now Jupiter is a benefic planet. It's a giving planet. It has that giving nature. It is wisdom and all the good things that you can expect from the life, the blessings and everything. Okay, so that is your Jupiter. Now here Jupiter is ruling the Kam Trikona for a Gemini ascendant, the seventh house. So it becomes Mara. So how do you think this Jupiter, this polite and patient feature, will become a malefic? Will become a
Marak.
Maarak and will kill the person? No, it won't kill. What it will do is, if you don't follow the wisdom of life, I'm not talking about our channel, but the wisdom of life that we have. So if you don't follow that, your relationships will be troubled and your energy will be wasted towards maintaining your relationship, but it will not work until and unless you follow the spiritual path, you follow the higher wisdom. So it will restrict your relationships until and unless you follow the domains of Jupiter. Now, what is the domain of Jupiter? Higher knowledge, wisdom, all the good things of life, forgiveness, avoiding trickstery, that I will trick someone into something. No, don't do that. If you start doing those things and you start avoiding, okay, I don't want to study anymore, I don't want to have any more further knowledge, let's go and do business, or let's go and do something else, I don't want this higher wisdom and this and that. So when you start doing this, Gemini ascendant, you are bringing trouble into your life, because Jupiter will restrict your relationships, your networks, and then you will face the consequences for it. So, because Jupiter is a benefic planet, it is not creating a physical harm to you. It is giving you restriction on based on mental level or in terms of other people. But it is not creating physical problems to you like accidents or something like that. And as soon as you start following Jupiter's principles, it will start giving you good results. So Maraks also give good results, but their condition is you have to follow my order first. You have to follow what I am trying to say to you. Then I will give you the result. Otherwise, I will block it. So that's how Marak performs.
So,
Take one another example,
hmm.
which will clear it further. So now we talked about a benefic planet as a Marak. Now let's take a malefic planet as a Marak. Okay. So suppose a person is a Leo ascendant. Now the seventh house is ruled by Aquarius, and which is seventh house sign is Aquarius, and which is ruled by Saturn and Rahu. So now we have two malefic polars, so highly malefic. Now what will happen in such a person's case? If a Leo ascendant start building a lot of ego in his life, if he starts seeing himself as the only important person and starts disrespecting everyone else. Okay, so what is Saturn? Saturn is the people who are lower than your standards. They are Saturn. And when you start insulting those people, you don't pay respect to those people, you don't collaborate with them, you discriminate uh, among yourself and them, then Saturn and Rahu will activate as Maarak, and they will give you physical troubles as well. Like you will face some accidents or some cheating will also happen from partner because Rahu is also there. So cheating will happen. Secondly, no person will support you. Saturn's base is very strong. Okay. Just imagine that you are the boss of a company, but there is no one to work under you. What will happen to you? You will collapse. You won't be able to function properly. Your company won't be able to function because the base level is not there. So that base is Saturn. So Saturn teaches humbleness. You should be humble. You should treat everyone equally. You should not discriminate between anyone. So if you start following these principles, Saturn and Rahu will start giving you good results. Now, Rahu, on a positive side, it can create a lot of networks. It can expand your network. Like you will have a lot of connections. Different kind of people will have uh, different kind of knowledge, and you will have access to all of them. They will help you. You won't need to ask somebody. The other person will come to you and they will help you. So that is the blessing they will give. But on what condition? The condition is you have to respect the domain of Saturn and Rahu. If you don't respect it, if you just say that, okay, I am not going to follow this kind of things, these all things are BS, I am not going to follow these things, I just want that I am the most important person and I don't care what other people are. And they might have something, but I don't care. I am the only important person in this world. Then these planets will start creating troubles for you. And they actually give you physical troubles. Like you will have literal uh, accidents, or sometimes those kind of cases happen that you get stuck into the lifts or somewhere where there is no access. So those kind of cases can be seen. Those might happen if you don't follow.
So,
But if you follow, then they, yeah, yeah.
no, no, please continue.
So if it's a planet which is malefic in nature, and it has also become Mara, then it will give you trouble in the harsh way. But if it is a benefic and it has become Mara and you don't follow it, it will give you troubles, but in a softer way. Like it will first create impact inside your head, and then you will face those consequences, but that won't be that much severe as compared to the malefics. Malefics create more severe. Like if it is a Mars, then Mars will give you physical accidents. Your bones may get broken, and there might be some cases where you have to go through certain surgeries or certain uh, loss of some body organs as well. So those kind of extreme things are seen from Malefic. Benefics, it is on the softer side, but the agenda is clear that a Maarak planet just wants you to respect its domain, to follow its what it is trying to give to you. If you follow it, then you will progress in it. Otherwise, it will create trouble. Yes, Divyansh, you were saying something. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, no,
Now
no.
you can tell me what you say.
I wanted you to list down the Kaarak and Maarak planets houses once again.
Okay, so Kaarak planets are basically, I will give you a technique that will help you to remember the things, like how one can understand what will be the Kaarak for this Lagna and this Rashi. So the which are supporting your Lagna, they are the Kaarak. Okay. So Lagna is the first house. So what are the houses that support the first house? They are fifth and ninth. So they naturally become a Kaarak planet. Secondly, the fourth house is also important because the fourth house represents your happiness. How much you will be happy in the life? Are you satisfied or not? You might have all the achievements of the world, but it is possible that you might not be content with it. There might be a void inside your heart. So it means the fourth house is affected. So the fourth house is also very important for Lagna. So fifth house, ninth house, fourth house, they are the Karak. They support you. Whereas Maarak, what can I say? That the Trik Bhavas, that are the sixth, eighth, and 12th houses, they are malefic houses because they are sudden. You don't have any control over them. If you have a hidden enemy, what can you do about it? If certain incident happens, eighth house, what can you do about it? Suddenly something appeared, you had no plan about it. So that is out of your control. So that is your eighth house. 12th house is it's moksha and it is about spiritually progressing to a different real where you have no attachments to this plane. So that thing also happens over the period of time. You have no control over it. So, okay, so today I want this car. Tomorrow I will leave this desire. I don't want this car. It never happens like that. It either happens like you have got it and you got satisfied with it, then you leave it. Okay, I am satisfied now. I don't want this thing. And other way can be like you wanted something but you didn't get it. And over the period of time you develop this detachment part. So again, it takes time and you have no control over it. So it becomes malefic house as well. It also represents the losses that you have, expenses you have. So suppose you are ill or you went to a new place where the prices are very high. There you have no control. You have to pay the money. No other options. So that is the 12th house. You have no control over it. So these houses are not very supportive to the Lagna, the 6th, 8th, and 12th. So these are the ruler of these houses will become the Maarak. The third house, seventh house, and the 11th house, they are Kam Trikon. So they increase the desire within you. So these houses, the planets ruling these houses will also become Maarak for you. Now let's take one example. Suppose someone is a Scorpio ascendant. Now the seventh house is ruled by Venus, the 12th house is also ruled by Venus. So Venus will become the malefic. Oh, sorry, not malefic, but Maarak. Why? Because Kam Trikon, seventh house, and the 12th house, where you don't have any control, your expenses and losses and everything. It becomes Maarak. Now Venus will say that okay, so you have to respect your partner. You have to respect your relationships. You cannot be stubborn in a relationship. If you become stubborn, your relationship will be lost and you will face a lot of consequences in terms of monetary loss. You won't be able to sustain your wealth. You won't be getting the finer things of life, the pleasure of life. You won't get because Venus represents those things. Conjugal bliss will also not be there if you are a married person. You will face quarrels inside your family. So that thing Venus will do if you don't follow the domain of Shukra. Now, as soon as you start following the domain of Shukra, that you are respecting your partner, you are treating the other person with respect, and you are doing some things for your partner, you will start seeing growth in your life. Materialistic growth also, because seventh house is calm trikon, so it starts fulfilling your desires. Your desires will start getting fulfilled. First thing, your networks will also increase because seventh house is other people also, so your networks will increase. And the third thing, because it is ruling the 12th house, it will give you the moksha also. It has the ability to provide you the spirituality also, and ultimately directing you towards the moksha. So it was Maarak planet, but still, if you followed its agenda, it led you to a good place. So Maarak works like that. So basically, Maaraks are those houses which do not support your Lagna directly. They are the third house, sixth house, seventh house, eighth house, 11th house, 12th house. The ruler of these houses will become Maarak for your child.
So,
Okay?
I've heard that Jupiter is called a very benevolent planet, uh, God's blessings planet, right? Wherever it sits, it
True,
benefits the person there in that house, right? So,
true,
merging it with the
true.
concept of Kaarak and Maarak and Benefic and Malefic planets, I want to know that how would a Jupiter perform if it is a Maarak Grah, and also uh,
Mm.
is there any correlation between Kaarak Maarak and Benefic and Malefic planets? Like how Kaarak and the Benefic planets would differ. Similarly, how a Maarak and Malefic planet would differ.
Okay. So first, let's come to the Jupiter part that you asked me. That Jupiter is a benevolent planet, but how it will behave as a Maarak? So Jupiter saves you from a lot of things. Okay. Like, even if you talk in terms of modern day science, we have understood that there are a lot of asteroids and other space particles which are continuously coming towards the Earth. But Jupiter, using its strong gravitational pull, attracts those elements towards itself. So it acts as a protection shield for our Earth. It saves us from a lot of troubles. Similarly, Jupiter in Vedic astrology represents Guru, spiritual Guru, or any kind of teacher that you have. A teacher always protects its student like sun. Okay, like in traditional Indian philosophy, it is considered that first teacher is mother, second father, then guru comes, and after that comes God. So God is not number one. He comes after Guru. Guru is more important because Guru is the medium through which you will connect to God. So Guru has been given a lot of importance in our culture. Now coming back to Jupiter, Jupiter protects us from a lot of troubles, lot of health issues, lots of other downfalls and all. Now, if Jupiter is trying to become negative in your chart, what will happen is Jupiter will pull its hand out from you. So, what will happen if Jupiter starts pulling out its hands of blessing from you? You will suddenly see you are facing a lot of troubles in life. Even small, small things you are not able to do properly, you are facing a lot of obstacles in your life. Like lot of things you have planned, but at the last moment those plans got cancelled, or there was some obstacles due to which your plans, your goals were never fulfilled. Why? Because Jupiter was protecting you earlier. It was giving you that shield, that protection shield, that okay, I am here, don't worry, you just carry on, I will take care of it. Now if Jupiter becomes malefic, it will stop protecting you. Most malefic Jupiter will do this thing only. It will stop protecting you. That's it. It doesn't need to do any harm to you. It won't be like, okay, let's kill this person. No, that's the job of the malefic planets, maybe, but not Jupiter. Jupiter say that, okay, I will stop supporting you. I won't support you anymore. You go on your own way. I'm not supporting. So the first thing when Jupiter is malefic, what will happen is the person will lose his wisdom, his far-sightedness. He will lose that thing. Second, he will lose that protection shield of God. Jupiter is the blessing of God. So Jupiter is always protecting, always providing you with the opportunities. Suddenly you'll see the opportunities have stopped coming to you. The opportunities are not coming to you. So all the positive things that Jupiter represent, it will stop giving those things if it is functional malefic in a person's chart, and uh, it is also a Maarak planet in that person's chart, and the person is not following. See, if it becomes a functional malefic and not a Maarak, in that case, what will happen that the person will lose his vision. He won't be able to have a bigger goal in his life. The person will be lost in his life. What I am doing, I don't know. I'm just doing it for sake of doing. I don't know. I don't have any plan for my future. I don't have any personal goals, only regrets and only hardships. So that's how Jupiter will function as a malefic planet in someone's chart. Although it's benefic, but if it becomes malefic, then it will pull its hand out of your head and you will start facing a lot of issues in your life. Second question was that is there a correlation between malefics and benefics? Sorry, what was that? Maraka and
Maarak and
malefics, you
Malefic
were
and
asking.
Kaarak and Benefics.
Okay, Maarak, Kaarak, and malefic benefic plants. Yeah, there is correlation. Like there is another concept that says based on the planetary position, okay, planets can become functionally malefic or benefic. Like in someone's chart who has a Gemini ascendant again, because Gemini I am taking because Jupiter is the Jupiter becomes Maarak and Jupiter is a benefic planet, so it helps me to give the example. Now in someone's chart, let's say Jupiter is sitting in 8th house in the sign of Capricorn. Okay. So first thing, Jupiter was ruling two houses, the 7th house, the 10th house. 7th house is not supporting the Lagna. So, but not supporting the Lagna, I mean to say that it has its own agenda. Okay? Your desires. The person run after desire and hampers his own mental and physical health many times. So mental and physical health are related to your Lagna and 4th house. So it creates problems to those things. Now Jupiter has gone to the 8th house. So 8th house is sudden events. That is also something that we don't have any control over. So it is also a negative house. Now this Jupiter's impact will be very negative if the person is not following the spiritual. And the funny thing is, you will find that the people who are Gemini ascendant and has Jupiter in the 8th house, they are very spiritual. They believe in occult sciences and Tantra Shastra and Mantra Shastra and everything like those knowledge which are hidden. The hidden aspect of life, they are very much interested in those things. But if you ask why, because they have saw a lot of adversity in their life. They see things happening around them that they start questioning their life, that why I am here even. I am not able to do anything on my own. What is the reason that every time I try to do something, something creates a problem to it? So out of that curiosity, they start pursuing Jupiter's domain, that is spirituality, occult science, hidden wisdom, maybe the knowledge of the new age thoughts that we have today, like manifestation and all those kind of things. They will be very much interested in those things. They will start learning about those things, start learning about those principles, start applying those things into their life, and eventually they become successful or they come out of their troubles. But if you see the initial phase of these people, they are troubled by a lot of things, lot of physical health issues, family issues, sudden change in career might happen, sudden relationship failures, one thing after another. Those things will happen. But the purpose is to bring that person out of his mindset that I don't need spiritual wisdom. So, like that, the person comes to the spiritual path and then Maarak stops giving the results. Now, if Jupiter never becomes malefic actually, it will just have a negative positioning by, like, let's say if Jupiter is sitting with Rahu in the eighth house and aspected by Saturn, and Jupiter is debilitated. Okay. No exchange is happening, no Neech Bhang is happening, and there are other aspects of malefic planets like Mars. Mars will not impact that much, but if Rahu is also aspecting, Saturn is aspecting, Jupiter is debilitated, then of course we can say that Jupiter becomes very weak. Such a person will have a lot of physical troubles, like may have breathing issues, asthma, and those kind of things. The person will also face a lot of issues in getting a job done. There will be obstacles here and there. Person's faith might turn out to be the reason of downfall of that person, because he might have faith in a wrong person who is not actually a guru, but who just represents himself or herself as a guru, and this person gets involved with that false guru and eventually faces the consequences. So in such cases where Jupiter is badly afflicted, these kind of scenarios might happen. Other than that, Jupiter is a very benefic and forgiving planet. So it doesn't give it doesn't need to give bad results actually. It just, if it only pulls out its energy from your life will become hell. So that's how Jupiter functions. And the correlation that I was saying is, if a planet is malefic by natural nature, like Mars, and if that planet is also ruling your eighth house, let's say, now two points have added. First, it is naturally malefic. Second, it is ruling the negative house as well. And it went to some good house. Let's say it went to your fourth house or maybe your second house. Now, what will happen? It will create physical troubles to you. Literally, it will trouble you. Like you will have sudden fights with your family out of no reason. There was no reason of it, but fights started. Okay, sudden events in the family, sudden death of someone in the family. These kind of events will happen in such cases. So, in order to judge a planet, we have to see the two things. First, whether it is naturally malefic or benefic. Secondly, is it a Kaarak or Maarak for the chart? If the same Mars is for a Scorpio ascendant, so for Scorpio ascendant, The Mars becomes the ascendant lord, but it is also ruling the sixth house also. That is the house of rogue, ruin, shatru, enemies, hidden enemies, disease, and everything. Now, what will happen if it goes into a negative house? Your physical health will be impacted by a lot of. But let's say if it is a ascendant like Leo, where Mars becomes the Kaarak, the ninth house lord is Mars, okay, and the fourth house lord is also Mars. So what will happen if Mars become very strong and uh, it is placed in a positive house? It's acting like a Kaarak planet. This person will get everything in life, like happiness, luck, everything will favor that person, but at the cost of someone else's pain. Because Mars is naturally malefic, so it has that snatching ability. It won't be like Jupiter that, okay, I don't have this, other person is having it. Okay, so let him have it. I will sacrifice that for for myself. This person needs it more. Let him enjoy that. Mars is not like that. Mars is like, okay, I need this thing. That person is having that thing. And there is only one option, I can snatch it from him. If I don't snatch it, I will perish. I won't exist anymore. So let me do that. I will have to take it. So then Mars will go and fight with that person. Mars will not cheat you, but Mars will start fighting with you. So that's how you get the things done. If Mars is correct and Mars is fulfilling your desires, let's say. But if it is a Venus, let's say, Venus is also a benefic planet. It will use diplomacy. Different kind. It will go and talk to that person. That okay, you have it. I also need it, and you have it completely, but you can also survive on half. But if I don't have it, I may perish. But Shukra is Daitya Guru also. So diplomacy has two parts. It will first talk in a polite way. It will first try to convince the other person. But if the other person is very stubborn, it is not listening to the diplomacy, then Shukra uses Saturn, Ketu, and Rahu for getting the job done. So what will happen if Shukra is troubled, then Rahu and Ketu protects Shukra. So Rahu and Ketu starts perform making different kind of stunts into that person. That person might get into some unknown trouble which was not known to him before. Sudden events which cause that person some kind of harm. These kind of events will start happening after that person doesn't work according to what Venus said. So although Venus is benefic, but Venus is rajasic in nature. Rajasic planet is something like I have done this thing for you, then you should also do something for me. Sattvic planets are like, okay, I don't care whether you have done it for me or not. If this is the duty of mine, I will do it. Whereas malefic planets are like, okay, so what you can give me? Can you give me something? If you can give me something, then okay. If you cannot give me something, I don't care. So that's why the malefic planets act like that. Sorry, not malefic, tamasic planet. Sorry, it was mistake. It's tamasic planet. Tamasic is always asking about what I can get. That's why Rahu is tamasic. It will always say what I can get out of it. What is my profit out of it? Then I will act. Otherwise, I won't act. Rajasic is more like okay, you give me something, I will give you something. If you have done something for me, I will do it for you. Of course, I will do. But when it comes to Sattvic is more like okay, so you have not done anything. I don't care. It is my job to protect you. I will protect you. So that's why Jupiter becomes very very benefic because naturally it's a benevolent planet, plus its nature is sattvic also. Whereas in case of Venus, it's a little bit different. It uses diplomacy. First, it will say to you politely that do it, do it, do it, do it. If you don't do it, then it will use the harsh way because he's Dakti Guru. So that's how correlation exists between the benefic nature and the Kaarak and Maarak. If the planet is sattvic in nature and it is benevolent in nature, but it became Maarak for you, that planet will not hurt you because it is getting no personal gain out of it. It will say, okay, you just did it, you are not in the path of dharma, so what can I do? You will suffer your own consequences. I will pull out of it. I will not protect. That's the thing the benevolent planet will do. But when it comes to the um, tamasic planets like Rahu, Mars, Saturn, Ketu, they are ruthless. They will give you troubles because they don't care about you. They just care about their own agenda. You fulfill this agenda, otherwise I will trouble. So I hope it cleared your question that what can be the correlation between this benefic and malefic. The behavior will be the change in such cases. If benefic planet is there, then the behavior will be more towards giving protection and taking it back. I won't give it. But if it is a tamasic planet and malefic as well, in that case, it will put pressure on you that you have to do it. How you cannot do it? You have to do. Otherwise, I will trouble you.
Right. I got my answer.
Okay.
Yeah, I do not have
So
any.
that was
Please continue.
sorry.
Please continue.
Your voice is not audible. I think.
Please continue.
Okay. So that is about the malefic and benefic planets that I wanted to talk about. That natural malefic planets are just having this tendency that they don't support your physical body. They don't want it. Okay. Like you have also heard that Ketu is the Karaka for Mukti. So it gives you freedom from the bondages and everything. So what it is doing, it is cutting the cord. So it is also not supporting the physical body. So that's why it becomes the malefic planet. Otherwise, other than that, Ketu can also give you many things, but it is considered malefic because it doesn't support your physical body.
Hmm.
Similarly, benefic planets are those planets which support your physical body. And the mildly malefic, as I said, it is required for sustenance of life, but it doesn't like the physical existence.
Hmm.
Like sun will give you everything. Sun will give you name, fame. Okay, it might give you good relations also. But the main agenda of the soul is not that you get stuck into these things. It will say that okay, you have got these things, but come out of it.
Hmm.
Why would you need this body? It will get rotten after some years. Why do you need that? Soul doesn't need anything. Come out of this body. Why you have to take birth even? I am not liking it. So sun is supporting you, but sun is not liking that you are stuck in this physical body.
Hmm.
So that's why it is mildly malefic. Other than that, water planets, ether element, earth element, they are benefics. And then comes the Maarak planets and the Kaarak planets. So basically, they are those planets which support your lagna or your physical manifestation of the body, or the reality around you. They are Kaarak. And if the planets are not supporting it, they are creating obstacles to it. They are known as the Maarak planets. Now, the Kaarak and Maarak planet will also differ based on the uh, nature of sign. Like if it is a sthir, fixed sign. Okay. So
Hmm.
ninth house is also becoming Badhak in that case. Badhak means it will create obstacles. So although as I said for Leo ascendant, because Leo is a fixed sign, the ninth house is benefic. Mars is benefic, but Mars will also create the problem. Like it will create some obstacles also. It will give the things, but you have to put some effort for it. It just means that.
Hmm.
So that is how these planets work when it comes to the malefic and benefic aspect of it.
Got it. I do not have any other
So,
further questions to ask from my side.
mhm.
If you have anything to add, please go ahead.
Okay, so in terms of physical health, I would add one thing that if you must have heard about that Mahamrityunjay mantra, right?
Hmm.
And Mrit Sanjeevani Vidya,
Hmm.
that a person can be bring back to life after he has died.
Hmm.
So this knowledge was given to Shukracharya, that is Venus, by Mahadev.
Hmm.
So now if we try to understand why Shukra and not others, because Shukra is the water element. Okay. So if a person is facing problems in life,
Hmm.
having physical issues, physical health is not good, and the person is having trouble,
Hmm.
such person should increase the significations of Venus in that in his life or her life. How? How to increase the signification of Venus? Like Venus likes cleanliness, first of all.
Hmm.
So start maintaining the hygiene. First thing. Second, Venus represents foods as well.
Hmm.
So choose your food very wisely. Second thing. Third thing, and this is for everyone because Venus is also benefic anyways for all.
Hmm.
Okay. Just like Jupiter. Jupiter is more forgiving, but Venus is diplomatic, but it is also benefic and it is important for the maintenance of physical body. So control what you are eating, maintain hygiene. Third thing, have a balance because as you said earlier that you need to balance these five elements in our body. So the karaka for balance is Venus also. So what you are eating, when you are sleeping, how much time you put into physical exercises, you have to maintain a balance out of these things. If you become too lazy, it is a problem. If you become too much hectic, that is also a problem. So maintain the balance. And eventually what you will see that your physical body is healing very fast and you are getting the desired results in your life in terms of physical health because Venus is the uh, what I can say, it's not source, but I would say that Venus is the main sustainer of your body
Hmm.
because it is having that water element, that 70% that we were talking about. Because
Hmm.
moon will provide the water, but you cannot use it. It is a raw water, like salty water. You cannot drink it.
Hmm.
Venus purifies it and makes it useful for you.
Hmm.
So that's why doesn't matter even if Venus is Badhak or Marak for you, doesn't matter. if you improve the significations of Venus, it will help you in your physical life.
Hmm.
So that's all from my side. So
Okay.
if you want to add something or conclude today's show, you can go ahead.
So yeah, so I would like to state that today we got to learn about the benefic and malefic planets and how they affect some specific positions in our lives, how they behave as Kaarak, how they behave as Maarak, and we also got to understand that the influence of malefic planets are equally important in our lives as our benefic planets, because if we
True,
are going to be devoted to God, we need some kind of Jupiter energy in it. But if we want to be street smart, we need Mercury energy. Or if we are going to conquer something, we need Mars energy. And likewise.
true,
So, yeah, in order to
true,
balance our day to day life, we need all kinds of influences in our lives. And the key to it is to balance everything. All our the energies of all our planets are guided by our behaviors, and the positions of the thing is that the position of the planets kind of changes our mindset, and a change in our mindset leads to a change in our behavior, and a change in our behavior leads to a change in the specific energies of each of these planets, and so we get to see their influences. So if we have control over our
true,
behavior and our routine, we can control the energies of each of these planets, and hence have a control over our life, right? So yeah,
Mhm.
go to the
Right.
gym, go for a walk, eat healthy, behave well. People are hype
Yeah.
about that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
balance is the key. That's the beautiful lesson we can take from this discussion that both Malefic and Benefic and Kaarak and Maarak have their own agendas, but ultimately their agendas is to fulfill your karma only. So you have to balance the energy. If you have the proper balance, your life will be blissful.
True, Abhijit. So, audience, leave some of the topics that you love, that you would like us to discuss or you would like to know more about, and we'll gather some knowledge upon the topic and discuss it in length upon the next episode or
Yeah,
one of the upcoming episodes. Thank you so much for tuning in, and
yeah.
thank you so much, Abhijit, for spreading knowledge. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Divyansh.
So, have a nice day, everyone.
Have a nice, have a nice day, everyone, and stay tuned.
Bye.
Bye.